All right. What's going on, everybody?
Hello.
So tonight, South South Carolina just went from having zero fast track process to, or at least not a very fast process, to the fastest, one of the fastest ways to get rid of squatters in a property. What are squatters, you might ask? That's what we're going to talk about. I'm wondering how many people actually know what a squatter even is.
I think that show that came out that we were watching the other day, it caught our attention, probably a lot of others. I've seen it on my Facebook feed about the squatters. And so I think maybe more people are recognizing that that's a big problem and that it's not just tenants overstaying their welcome. It's people overtaking a house, and how easy it's kind of scary how easy it can be for someone to literally take over your property and change the locks and then say, oh, it's mine. And in so many places you have to go through a whole situation to get them out of your own property.
It's almost insane. I think that was one of the things that it's been a long time since we went through real estate school.
Right.
But I would say that was that was the first time I had heard about it. But it was one of the most shocking things that I heard. And I was like, wait a second, let me get this straight. Yeah. Somebody can occupy your property and you don't know it. You could be out of town. Yeah. It could be a piece of land you occupy or you own. Yeah. Somebody could be on your land and then you don't know. And after a certain period of time, it just becomes theirs.
Yeah. Or essentially. But if let's say that you're renovating a property, so it's under construction and you're not living there, somebody just decides to move in and change the locks and say it's their house.
Yep.
Before, you used to have to go through the whole courts and a whole eviction process and this whole situation to get them out of your own property that they just illegally took over. It's great. It's common sense. It's common sense. I don't even know why it took this to have to have a law to get a police officer to remove somebody from your property.
That's right.
So today we'll talk about who can you get off your property, what qualifies as a squatter, because this new law does not affect all people that you want off your property.
That's true.
Only certain people.
But this is extremely important. So
yes.
Let's talk about why I think this is really important. What is happening, especially in today's economy. So in today's economy, everybody's talking about how homes aren't affordable. I would agree. Affordability is absolutely a major issue. But
sure.
There are people that are like, okay, I live in an expensive state. I have a home. And when they talk about the affordability crisis, they're talking about a primary residence for the most part. So somebody's trying to buy a home and they can't buy a home to live in, a first-time home buyer or whatever. Rates are higher, prices are higher. Okay.
Taxes.
That's right.
Maintenance.
But there's a second part of this, and that is people that live in an expensive state, let's just say up north, like Northeast. You want to buy a rental property, you're talking $600,000 to buy a rental, not $400,000, which is the average in America, or whatever you want to say it is, the lower price for an average single family.
Okay.
700, 600, whatever. So what they're going to do is they're going to say, or I would tell them, hey, maybe you should consider trying to buy in a different state. So you can now afford to buy an investment property or multiple by going outside of your state. Well, what that does is now you have a second home in a state, but where are you going to look? What you should do is you should look in a place where the laws favor a landlord. So you're not stuck with somebody who takes advantage of you. I'm not saying all renters do, but there are people that take advantage of the system.
Mm-hmm. And we've had clients.
Yeah. And so you need to pay attention because laws have consequences. You need to pay attention to what state you're going to buy property in, and you make sure that you aren't going to get taken advantage of. So this comes into play at this point in time because people can occupy your residence and then they can just say, this is my residence. There actually is a TV show Tiffany mentioned where there's a guy who goes around and he helps families get squatters out of their rental properties.
If you haven't seen it, we're not getting paid to say this, but it really we were both I actually never watched TV, but we were both into it.
Yeah.
We were packing.
It got us to watch TV together.
Not really. We were packing boxes. Yeah. We just moved out of our house last week. That's why we didn't do a live video.
We were squatters. We got kicked
out. So we were watching it in the background, but it was good.
But it's not really an actual major issue in a lot of places. It is more of an issue in some places than others. It's definitely not a major issue in South Carolina, but we're heading it off before we got there, which is what I like about this whole law. But it is an issue. It is a
anyone it
challenge.
happens to. Like,
That's right.
say it's like 1 in 1,000. If you're that one person, that really, really sucks. I mean,
Yeah.
like, and you call that happened to one of our clients who was trying to sell a condo up north, and the agent called and was like, there's someone staying in here, and the police wouldn't get him out.
Mhm.
He had to like go up and get him out himself. I would never do that.
And a lot of times it's not the police officer's fault. It's the law.
Yeah.
It's the laws that they've enacted in that area. The police can't help.
Yeah.
And that is such a ridiculous thing. This whole thing is so ridiculous to me.
It's like common sense, but now in South Carolina, another benefit of living in South Carolina is that the law is now protecting homeowners from this.
That's right. So
let's talk. Let's talk about first. Do you want to do the summary or just skip to who's this law for and who's it not for?
Well, when you say who's it for, I mean, do you mean like
Let's
it's for okay, let's put this up and then we'll go from there. Well, that's the wrong one. Let me just put my trusty old glasses on and add this to the stage. All right, here we go.
This is the summary.
Oh, well, that's why you went to slide 2, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right.
There you go.
There we go.
So
it creates a faster court process, right?
Yeah.
So this isn't going to take weeks or months, which in most places, that's what happens.
Yeah.
It takes months to get somebody who is not paying rent and was never on the lease to get kicked out of your place, which is insane.
So you have to pay your mortgage. Let's say you have a mortgage on it, taxes. You still have to be paying those, even though you can't access your property and somebody's overtaken it and probably damaging it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you are responsible for paying to fix the damages. That's crazy.
Yes. They may issue an ex parte order, is what they call it. Mm-hmm. And that is basically, they're trying to get you out quickly.
Yeah.
So, and that's what's amazing about it, is it's with a 24 to 48 hour type of situation.
I mean, think about that. 24 to 48 hours. It used to take months. Uh-huh. It could take months in the past. So that's huge. And also it gives penalties for people that are doing the squatting, because people just get away with it, you know?
That's right.
And so not that they would pay it, but, you know, potentially they're saying you owe it. So,
well, this was also, I think it's important to know, this was enacted June 25th.
Yeah.
So very recently, this just happened.
Within the last month.
Yeah. And it really put us on the map when it comes to this, because I think there's 23 states actually that have this type of ruling, and it's starting to turn and change. So if I were going to invest, would look at what are the 23 states that are actually enacting this if I were going to invest in property.
100%.
Absolutely.
You've really got to think, you don't think about that when you think about buying a second home, a vacation rental property, anything like that. You just think about where you want to be.
That's right.
You don't think about that until it happens to you. And you're like, oh my gosh, I should have asked before I bought this. What are the rules and how am I protected?
Yeah. So you should look for places where it's favorable to own property.
Yeah.
And so this was enacted by Governor Henry McMaster. He's the one that signed it into law. There was a South Carolina from Bluffton that was the leader of that led the charge on this, if I'm not mistaken. And that was Chairman Weston Newton. And it's already in effect, because once Governor McMaster signed it, it went into effect, I think, on June 30th.
Yeah, so it's so exciting. So let's talk about who it covers and who it doesn't. So you might think this is like a faster way to evict your tenant that's not paying. No, that does not cover still tenant rights. And if they do have a lease, then they're not covered by this law. So you can't just get your bad tenant out. I asked Frank if I could kick him out with this law.
You're not allowed to kick me out.
I can't get rid of
kick family out.
Yeah, you can't kick out family members that are close to you. So and that's considered like a family dispute and would still have to go to court. So you can't just call it and say they're squatting in your house. You don't want them there.
And it's also, it's current and former tenants are protected.
Yeah. Anybody that signed a lease Or let's say that you invited a guest to your house. So you're like, hey, Cindy, I haven't seen you in forever. Come stay at my house. And then she overstays her welcome. You can't just call and have them remove her from that because you invited them in. So this is for really uninvited guests, people that accessed your property with no lease in place and no permission to do so.
No permission, no legal right, and they were actually trespassing.
Right.
And that is what squatting is. And that's what makes it so insane. Is that
yeah.
somebody you don't know who is actively has no permission, no right, and they are trespassing can go into your property and then claim that it's theirs and not pay rent and no one can get them out.
And the law protects them.
That's
it's crazy
unbelievable.
Until now. And when you watch that show, if you got to watch it, if you haven't yet, because have y'all watched it? I'd love to know, but it will make your blood boil because you're like, how are these people doing this? It's crazy. So anyway, yeah. So it protects you from
that's right.
that.
So you have to file. There are some other parts to this. You have to. Okay. You have to file an actual petition with the magistrate court in the court of common pleas, I believe.
You do, but then they, within 24 to 48 hours, will give permission for the police to go remove them. So it's a very quick, speedy process.
And that's the other thing. A sheriff will accompany you.
Yeah.
So there's some good parts of this where you have someone there that's can protect you, I guess, if you're going to the property and you have to get this person out.
Right.
So,
and force them to get out because they could be like, no, I'm not leaving. And then what do? I mean, that could turn really bad, really fast. If you take action into your own hands, like you need to have law enforcement there. So, but first, so you have to tell them to leave. And let's say that you say, get out of my house. They don't leave. You file that petition. The court will file an immediate ex parte removal order, and then the law enforcement carries out that order. And usually a hearing follows that within 24 hours, unless there's good cause for delay. So,
and I don't think everybody really can appreciate the fact that we just didn't have any fast track process. We went from no fast track process to 24 hours.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
The problem, I think the problem happens when everybody hears on YouTube or there's so much spreading of knowledge and they say, hey, guess what? You can do this in a property and they can't get you out. So the more people that know that this is a thing that they can do and get away with, the more people are going to be doing it. And so really the government needs to get ahead of this. And even just like having that show on TV, somebody could be like, oh, where was that? I can do that. Even if they buy themselves, let's say 3 months, and the people can't get them out for 3 months, which would be short actually in a lot of places, but that gives them free place to live for 3 months. It's crazy.
I love it. And I think, quite frankly, I wish we could just take this type of action on all crimes.
Well,
like we should, it's like,
but
this
also
is gonna
just like a landlord-tenant relationship. That's still a struggle. It still kind of favors the tenant.
But think about what's happening here. Okay, so they passed this. Now people are going to become aware. Let's say I'm a squatter. Let's say I'm a squatter and I know the game. What I'm going to do is the first thing I'm going to do is understand, okay, what's the best places to go into the squatter?
100%. That's why we want to be known as a difficult place to get away with it. So
my point is that the first thing you're going to see is 23 states have strict laws and we're going to be one of them. So you're not going to get them here. That's the first thing. Yeah. So what happens if you did the same thing for theft or murder or anything else? It's like, oh, I shouldn't go there. I shouldn't be there if that's what they're strict on. So that's what I love about this. And we should do this for most things.
Yeah, definitely. So that's how
tough on crime in South Carolina. All right.
So
you want to just leave it up for
I don't know how. Okay. So now there's consequences, like I mentioned, because really before you got them out, maybe, and there wasn't really set consequences for it. So again,
now it's a felony.
But that was another reason for people to just do it, because they were like, oh, even if they get me out, whatever. So not saying that they have the money to pay the penalties.
But if you violate if you violate, you could be facing a felony. I think it's up to $3,000. Might be 3 years in jail. Yeah, 3 years and $3,000 fine. Could be. So there's consequences. It's not just like get out. There's also consequences.
But there's also consequences. Let's say that somebody calls the court or, calls for this hearing and they find out that they weren't actually a squatter and you just wanted to remove them. You could actually be penalized.
Yeah, but who's gonna be in your place if it's not the friend or a current tenant?
Well, like let's say it's like an ex-boyfriend or something or ex-girlfriend, and you want to get them out.
Now you're turning this into a lifetime. You're turning this into a lifetime TV show.
I watch too much Hallmark. Everybody knows that. But I'm just saying it goes both ways. So there are penalties for the squatter, but there's also penalties if you falsely accuse someone of squatting and it is found out that that's not actually the case. Maybe they were a family member, a guest that you invited. One of those people that we talked about were not included in this. So you just have to be aware when you are filing this that you are filing it against the right people.
I think that the main thing is it's an infringement on your rights to go and build wealth and have rental properties and second homes. And I think this is a good thing to deter people. It's not a major issue, but it is an issue, and it will continue to grow if you don't put a stop to it. So I think this is really good. I really think this is something for other states to consider. And I would ask myself, here's what I say. Okay, I didn't know that many other states already had enacted. So I was like, well, let me see. So I was doing some research. So there's 23 states. And what you should ask yourself is, it's not like the other states are unaware.
Yeah.
Why? You got to ask yourself, why aren't they putting rules like this in place?
Yeah.
That's what you got to ask yourself. You should question that. I question it. I'm like, well, why wouldn't they do that?
You question everything, though.
I do question everything. Absolutely.
I mean, I'd say this law is great and it's fast, but it would be really nice if you could just call the police and say, there's somebody in my property, come get them out. Like that would be the ideal situation.
Of course.
But you still can't do that. You still have to go through a court process. And they're speeding it up and they're getting the police involved that they can go and remove them with the order, but you still have to get that court order first. So that's kind of a bummer still.
It is, but it's like, okay, think about it. The police have a lot to do. You call them there, and now what? They're going to take a look at leases. That's not their job.
They could get in trouble.
So, it's like, okay, they're doing it in 24 hours. I can live with that. That's very fast. It gives them a chance for due process. Sort of.
Obviously, not the weekend is not included.
No, but you know what I mean. So it's like, hey,
I think once you get the order, it's 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah, so. But like, okay, let's go down. Here's the lease. You're not on it. You're a bozo. Get the heck out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it should be fairly straightforward.
For sure. No, it's a great thing to have, and I think in our area it matters a lot because we do have a lot of vacation rental properties. We do have a lot of properties that are second homes and not used. So can you imagine if you have a second home here and you're like, oh, I can't wait to get there going on vacation, and some random person is staying there.
And then you can't get them out. And that's what happens
let's
to
say
people.
They change the locks. That's what squatters do. They'll go in and change the lock and you can't get them out. So can you imagine? So now you're more protected in that sense. If that happened, worst case scenario, that'd be terrible. Yeah. But we have a lot of properties being renovated, new construction homes being built. We have a lot of this going on in our area. So this is really important for the Grand Strand as a whole, because we have the exact type of properties that appeal to squatters.
Absolutely.
Vacant properties.
No, it's a place where anytime there's second home investment.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of coastal areas. That's a lot. And that's the West Coast too.
Yeah. So this is really important.
It's probably going to be good luck in California.
Well,
I'm guessing it's probably not easy over there. That's a whole other conversation though. Not talking about you, California, but we are. Okay.
I mean, with this, like now knowing about this law, would that change your opinion on buying a property here, like a second home, an investment property? Do you think it matters that they change the law as much as we do? But we're in the real estate realm. But
yeah, I mean, what are you thinking if it doesn't? I mean,
well,
honestly,
they said if you just don't have, but like Frank said, you might say, well, I don't have a second home. I don't have a vacation rental. I don't care. That's for people that have money, which a lot of times is not. They might have saved up their whole life for it, But also, let's say you go on vacation and you post on Facebook, hey, on the flight to Hawaii or wherever you're going.
Yeah.
And then a squatter sees it and moves in your house while you're gone. This could affect anybody, any kind of home that is not being occupied at the moment. Somebody goes in and takes over.
Yeah.
So, I mean, honestly, everybody should care about this.
My only message, this is very simple to me. If you aren't paying attention to what places favor landlords or tenants, you're going to pay the price, and you deserve it because you should pay attention. Now, if you don't know, okay,
Well, some
fair
people
enough.
have to invest in certain places that they grew up in, they know, and
No, that's not true.
Well,
They don't have
might
to.
feel like
they might feel like they have to, but that feeling is going to get you into trouble.
Well, when you do get into trouble, then that's when you become our client and you call us and you're like, I'm selling all my rental properties in X place and moving.
What I would say is, if you did grow up in an area and they aren't favorable for investors and landlords, fair. That's what the word that they should be thinking is fair. It's not about being evil landlords and mean to tenants. It's about being fair. And this isn't fair. You can squat. That's BS.
Yeah.
That is not fair. But if you live in a place where it's not good for the landlords or an investment owner, then what you should do is get involved in your local community and fight those rules and get them changed. But I would not invest. And you need to ask yourself, why aren't they doing this? Why aren't they changing the rules? Because that is just nonsense.
Yeah, maybe they just don't feel like it's important enough.
By the way, if you're in there unlawfully, and it looks like what I read was if you create more than $1,000 worth of damage, then the fines even go up. I think it's a felony up to 5 years.
It's so good, but again, like
up to 5 years in jail.
Well, you might go to jail, but I doubt the homeowner will get their money from these people.
It's not about the money. You know what? I don't care about that, but it's like, what gives you the right to just take over somebody's property?
Well, when you see, again, I'm going to go back to the show because it humanizes the people, because I think the media and TV shows and everything kind of villainize vacation rental owners, landlords in general, and as this like bad, rich, evil group of people that are out to get tenants. And I think a lot of times in a lot of America, it's actually just like a regular family scraping by, and they're like, I want to try to invest in a different way than the stock market. And they get a mortgage out and they start to have a rental property. And then something like this happens. They can't get income. They're stuck with a mortgage. It could take them under fast, because a lot of those people don't have huge reserves. They're planning on this as being something that is bringing them an income. And if it doesn't, where are they getting that money to pay for the property? So I think that watching that show helps humanize the actual owners that this is happening to, and that it's not all just these bad people trying to, charge renters too much or blah, blah, blah. It's just real Americans.
Well, and I'm also, there is a part of this that's, I'm sympathetic to the cause of, because I know this is going to come up, people that have no place to live and all this jazz. That doesn't give you the right to take over somebody else's property. But let's just say that that's what happened. I'm sympathetic to that. You don't have a place to live. Okay. As long as when we show up, you just don't put up a fight and you leave. But when you watch like the TV show that this actually takes place in, these people hang around, and they hang around for days and weeks, and they say, get out of my property. I mean, they go all the way. They double down. Yeah. So it's really unfortunate because I don't think everybody's like that. Just not everybody's an evil landlord.
100%. And some people might be just in a bad place and it's cold outside and they need a place to sleep. And like, I get it. You can humanize that side of the equation as well. So would love to know y'all's thoughts on that. But I mean, this could even happen on a vacation rental property where they come and stay at your place and then they don't leave when they're supposed to. So I mean, we have a lot of opportunities for people to do this here.
I think it's also important to understand, like, just to add some clarity, it's different in every state. And when you're squatting, give someone the right to claim your land as their own. They actually have to be there so many years before they can do that. And it's different in every state. Some states it's 3 years, 5 years, 7 years.
Well, that's different than squatting.
Yeah.
You're talking about where they get the property if nobody says anything.
That's correct.
but squatting
this
is
is a little bit
also
different,
doesn't
but-
matter. It could be a day.
Yeah, I'm just letting everybody know because the people that aren't familiar with real estate are probably like, "What in the heck? Somebody can do this?" And
Yeah.
so I don't want them to
if
confuse
it's,
the
if it's
two.
like years and they're encroaching on your land and they put up a
Yeah.
fence, and let's say they put up a fence into your land and 10 years ago and you never said anything for 10 years, and then all of a sudden you want them to move their fence, they could say, oh, well, this is my property now. I've had this. You didn't say anything. And that is actually a true story that Frank just said. But
I think it is interesting that in 2024, only 8 states had squatting laws.
yeah.
And as of 2025, it's now 23.
Do you think that it's because this is becoming a bigger issue and people are starting to do this? Or do you think people have always been squatters and it just hasn't been like not mediaized, I don't know, like put on media where people are aware that this is an issue?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I have a feeling it's because some states are getting softer on crime because this is a crime.
So it's happening.
And
more
I think
often.
it's happening more because they think they can get away with it because they're already getting away with other stuff.
Yeah.
And I personally think that that's a big part of it. I would be interested to know where you're watching this from. And do you own investment property? And where do you own investment property? And what is it like where you have that property? Have you ever had an issue with a squatter?
Yeah.
I'm interested to know because I think that's the common reason. I think soft on crime, if you will. And I think people think they can get away with it. But,
yeah.
And where are you going to move to if you're a squatter? You're going to go where you think it's easy. And that's what you're going to get.
It's unfortunate. So we were so excited when we heard that this law came out because this is like real estate is our life. We do everything revolves around real estate for us. So when we heard this, it was just a breath of fresh air that the government is doing something to also protect the owners and not just the tenants or people, squatters, everybody else.
That's right.
So, but I do want to say the caveat, like we always do, we are like, we're not a CPA, we're not attorneys. So this is not intended for legal advice.
I can play a good attorney.
If he wants to do his acting career. But this is not intended to give you legal advice. It's just, we're letting you know about the laws that changed. If you do have any issues with the squatter, you need to talk to a local attorney and they'll direct you on what exactly to do.
100%. If you have questions about, let's talk about it. If you have questions on short-term rental management, we do that. If you have questions about buying or selling or investing in the Grand Strand, if you have questions about building or renovating in Myrtle Beach, Grand Strand area, you can call the number below, the 704-910-9111. You can email either one of us at Frank@Carolina Crafted Homes or Tiffany@Carolina Crafted Homes. You can also go to our website, carolinacraftedhomes.com. We're here to help. This is just information to help you understand and make better, more informed decisions. It's really important that you do your research before you invest anywhere. And this is a major piece of the investing process, whether you're investing in your backyard or in a different city or state, because that's a process. And if you have questions, we would love to walk you through that anytime.
It's always good reminders on what questions to ask in real estate, because a lot of people don't know the questions, or unless it happened to you, you don't think about it or know to ask about it. So just a friendly reminder that is an issue, and now our South Carolinians are protected. So
we just wanted to do this tonight and talk about this law. We thought we were actually excited about it.
Yeah.
So we wanted to make sure you were aware. Hopefully you heard it here first. This hasn't been long. And if you have any questions, follow up with us and let us know. Until then, we'll see everybody next week, right? All right.
So.
All right, everybody. See you next week.